Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello people of the internet and welcome back my friends. As we're still in the spirit of Halloween, I want to talk about one of the most scariest villains of Batman, Victor Zsasz. I do want to put a disclaimer that this video will talk about the act of taking your own life and self-harm. A lot. So if those subjects are sensitive to you, please do skip this video because I do not want to trigger you. Also, as usual, I'm not diagnosing anyone. If you relate to any of these theories here, they may not apply to you. So I'm just speculating about fictional characters and their possible diagnosis. With that said, onto the video. Victor Zsasz came from a very rich family. He himself was the head of a successful international company. However, at the age of 25, he lost both of his parents in a boating accident. This caused Victor to spiral into a very serious depression. To cope with his grief, he turned to gambling. What was once his wealthy fortune was now thrown away to an addiction. Victor would gamble against the penguin and he lost due to the penguin cheating. Victor came to the realization that his life had become empty and yet the impression that there was no point to life anymore. He saw himself as a robot driven by desire. This made him decide to take his own life on Gotham Bridge. During his attempt, a homeless guy assaulted him with a knife because Victor refused to give him money. When Victor looked into his eyes, he saw nothing. He too was a robot, a mindless zombie. Victor believed that only death would save the guy from his own emptiness. So he slashed his throat. This incident changed Victor. He started seeing himself as a liberator, someone who would save the people from their pointless existence. He believed every single person was standing on the brink of oblivion. And to reward himself, he would make a cut in his arms resembling his victims. Every victim he made was left in a lifelike stance, and with every victim he made, he would cut a telemark into his skin. This was the start of Victor Zsasz being a serial killer. Victor's beliefs and opinions on humanity are very nihilistic and misanthropic or pessimistic. However, misanthropy would be quite ironic since Victor believes he is helping people. By killing them, he is doing them a favor. He views life as a disease. People are zombies with meaningless lives. After every kill, he would leave the victim in a lifelike state or pose, which would symbolize that even in death, they are no different. Like they were already dead, but on the inside. He seems to show tendencies of an obsessive-compulsive disorder, or also known as OCD. A person with OCD experiences compulsions or rituals that lead to emotional distress. Some very well-known obsessions are cleaning and symmetry, but harm and aggression are some as well. An obsession is defined as a recurrent and persistent thought or impulse that is intrusive and causes distress. Compulsions are repetitive behaviors or mental acts that the person feels driven to perform in response to an obsession. The compulsions are also time-consuming or cause significant distress or impairment in life. Victor feels a need to cut the telemark for the victim he just made or was about to make. In Detective Comics issue 815, Victor attempts to kill Alfred and he made the telemark because he had the impression Alfred was dead. However, after finding out he wasn't, Victor realized that his study is off by one and he says, "My skin, it's crawling. Every inch of it feels wrong." And he feels the need to kill the person he made the telemark for. He can't just kill someone else because that doesn't feel right. In this case, Victor tries to murder Alfred again. But of course, Batman didn't let that happen and Victor was sent back to Arkham Asylum. In the asylum, he managed to stalk his psychiatrist and told her he had a special place on his body for her mark. She left and Victor got a new therapist. He felt depressed that one of his potential victims escaped, and during his therapy session, he mentioned that he wanted to make the mark next time he saw her. He was so obsessed with going through with his plan that he escaped Arkham to find the doctor. His compulsion to self-harm goes so far that he has the impression it's the only thing he lives for. In Arkham City, after Batman apprehends Victor and locks him in a cage, he begs Batman to let him out so he can get more telemarks, as those are the only thing that he has left to live for. So it is very clear that Victor is obsessed with gaining more marks. One question we ask ourselves is, why? Why kill people? Well, lucky for us, Victor himself gave us an explanation. In the Batman Chronicles issue 3, a psychiatrist asks him this question and he says, "I have no dysfunctional family background, I suffered neither childhood abuse or trauma, I kill for one reason only, because I choose to." After strangling the psychiatrist, he repeats, "I kill because I want to kill, because I choose to kill." It's quite clear that Victor is a sociopath. He doesn't feel remorse whenever he hurts someone. On the contrary, he feels pride. When it comes to being a serial killer, multiple categories are possible. Victor is disorganized, which implies that he usually doesn't plan his murders. Victor's victims are very random. There's not one type of person he goes after. He just kills. Even Batman struggled with finding Victor because of this. However, Victor does usually bring his own knife, but it could also be that he just walks around with a weapon all the time. Dr. Young refers to Victor as an asocial serial killer. However, I beg to disagree. An asocial, disorganized serial killer is someone who would use whatever weapon they can find on the scene. They're often inexperienced, they may feel bad about the crime later on, and they leave the body at the scene and don't try to conceal it. Victor isn't like that. He has his own knife, has at least 143 kills in his name, so we can say that is quite the experience. He does not feel bad afterwards, and he leaves the bodies in the human-like state. An example of this is in Arkham City. He calls a payphone and challenges the one who picks it up to find the next phone. One of the people who didn't make it till the next phone was killed and left at the payphone. Of course, Dr. Young could be referring to his personality, and then I would agree. Victor is asocial. He is socially isolated and isn't seen working with many other criminals. In some occasions, he does, such as in Infinite Crisis issue 7. There he is seen as a part of the secret society of supervillains. But most of the time, we see him working alone. So why does he kill? The debate on nature versus nurture can give us the answer. Serial killers are made, but also born. Victor owned a company, and since his parents were very rich, I assume they too were CEOs of a company. According to a meta-analysis by Harms and Crede, it is common for psychopaths to take on leadership roles such as CEO. Kevin Dutton, a psychologist, notes that the top 4 career choices for psychopaths are CEO, attorney, media personality, and salesperson. Since both his parents were big in the business world, it could be that his parents showed psychopathic traits and were given onto him. We also don't know much about Victor's childhood. He may claim that nothing traumatic happened, but trauma isn't just experiencing something bad. It could also be the lack of necessary experiences. If both his parents were big business people, I can imagine that maybe they weren't around much, so there could be talks of neglect or lack of affection. When he lost his parents, he felt very strong depressed feelings and he lost the will to live. He felt as if his life was meaningless and lacked purpose. His incorrect belief that killing people helps them gives him purpose. It makes him feel happy and proud, which is better than feeling grief and sadness. If you like these types of videos, please press that subscribe button. If you have a character you want me to analyze, feel free to leave your recommendations down below in the comments. With that said, I thank you all for watching and I hope you have a very nice day. Bye bye!